Axopar cover a wide range of sizes on their boats, all the way from 22 up to 45 feet. Now today we are on the brand new Axopar 25 cross top. This is the first one in Australia. It's very exciting to have it here. It's hull number 3 in the world, so very early in the production, but already we're seeing a phenomenal vessel. The plan with today's video is to take this boat offshore to demonstrate some of the boat's offshore handling capability. I've taken this boat, I've run it from Pittwater down to Sydney in less than ideal conditions, and I know what this boat can do. I'm in love with what this boat can do, but I want to show you that and hopefully give you as much information on this model as possible. So we're on Middle Harbour, Sydney Harbour today. It's a little bit overcast. It's not ideal weather for enjoying a day out on a boat, but typical of the La Nina conditions that we're seeing at the moment. So offshore we've got about a 2-metre easterly swell rolling in through the head. Quite good conditions for demonstrating the hull and performance. I will warn you that it's really hard to make waves look big on camera. I'll do my best with the way I'm driving the boat. Bear that in mind. So we're not going to take a look through this vessel in detail today. My colleague Rowan McMahon has already done that at the launch of this vessel in Palma. Today we're going to look at the performance and the fuel consumption really. So I'm inside quite flat water now, so I'll just take it up to speed and get some fuel calculations for you, some rates of burn, and talk about the trim of the boat as well. So idle speed was about 3.5 knots with a 600 RPM on the engine. I'm up to 13 knots and I'm already planing, okay? So it's a very low planing speed. That's testament to the Axopar hull. Sitting on 18 knots now, the boat is very comfortable at this speed. Burning about 28 litres of fuel per hour. The boat's slowly creeping up in speed. Once we get to that planing angle, the boat really just goes on itself, and you're not pushing the throttle any further forward, but the boat is accelerating due to the stepped hull and the lack of friction coming from the water. It's important to note, from 16 knots all the way up to 24 now, my consumption has not increased per hour. So my consumption is the same as it was at 16 knots, and it is at 24 knots now. Creeping up, I'll take it up to the most economical cruise speed that we find with these 250 horsepower engines. Sitting on about 27 knots now, burning about 28 litres per hour. So that's probably the most efficient cruise speed when we look at fuel consumption and our speed. If I take the acceleration all the way up, go up well into the 30s, and I've still got plenty of power. I've trimmed up about 20 degrees on the engine, and I haven't really activated the trim tabs at all. The trim tabs are still all the way up. The boat's very well balanced at speed, sitting at 35 knots now, burning 51 litres per hour. We've got a little bit more in the power range there. If I push it up, we go flat stick, and we're hitting 41 knots at 85 litres an hour. And I can put this into quite a hard turn, as with all the Axopars. And my speed's dropped a little bit. The speed's gone down to about 38 knots, it's still very quick. And we're going through the turn very comfortably, not losing any grip on the water. It's really quite reassuring to drive at this speed. Still, I haven't used the trim tabs at all. The trim tabs are still all the way up. But the engine is up now on 26 degrees. Now I'm going to put the boat into quite a hard turn now. We're coming in at 30 knots, and as I go in, I trim the engine down so I don't get any cavitation. And at the same time, I'm pushing the throttle further forward as we go around the corner. I'm not losing any grip on the water. The prop's not cavitating at all. And you can feel the G-force. I mean, Marnie on the main camera is holding on as best she can. But this is very cool. You know, the 22, which we've tested before, is an incredible performer. This with the V8 250 really goes round quite hard, which is awesome fun. As I come out the turn, I trim up on the engine, and we're straight back up about 40 knots. It's very, very cool. Awesome ride. I do feel very safe and secure here. It's we've obviously got lots of protection from the windscreen and the rails and the T-top. I don't feel like I'm sitting on top of the boat. We're going to take this offshore now. So I'm going to put Marnie on the other boat. and we'll see what it can do in a bit of swell, because this is relatively flat. So straight away, coming out of middle harbour, we're getting a bit of swell rolling in. It's quite gentle at this stage. There's certainly a bit of chop. Not ideal boating conditions. It is about 2 meters, so we've got a surface top of about 1 meter on top of that, so it's quite messy. This thing just goes. It doesn't really seem to mind what condition it's in. I'm not losing traction. I'm not losing grip on the hull. I'm trimming down a bit. When I go into turns, you have to trim down a bit. This is absolutely stunning. Very, very cool. So that was incredibly fun. I said this when I did the Axopar 22 review. I just wish I could see this boat, because it is incredibly fun. It feels incredibly fun to drive. I just wish I could see it going through the water. So very much looking forward to seeing this footage when we get back into the office in a minute. This boat goes as we would expect it. It's a little bit heavier in the bow than the 22. It's obviously the same beam, so we're still getting a lot of the performance. We're not losing any of the agility. But being a little bit longer and having the cabin up the front adds a little bit more in the bow. The only thing that really means is that I don't have to use the trim tabs as much as I otherwise would. So we're rocketing it back into middle harbour now. Okay, so how good was that? This thing absolutely killed it out there. I hope it looked as good as it felt. I know it probably did, being such a good looking boat. Overall, very impressed. It's an absolute weapon. You know, it's exactly what we expect from Axopar. Obviously the 37, the 22, the 28 and the 45, which we have test driven as well, are all great performance, so we'd expect nothing less. The Axopar 25 sits in this really nice category, exactly what it was designed for, in that it's larger than its little sister, the 22, yet you can still put it on a trailer very easily. So at 2.3 meters wide, it can be trailered with no problems on Australian roads. You don't need oversized signs or flags or an extra large towing vehicle, coming in at just over 2 ton, fully loaded up. So it's really that crossover between the Sydney Harbour day tripper excursion boat, but you can also load it on the trailer, pack the car full of kids and dogs for the weekend, and head off Nelson Bay, Jervis Bay, even up Queensland. You go all the way up out to the reef with Sundays, all the rest of it. So really it's the adventure boat used for anything, and it's an absolutely cracking performer. I'm a big fan. I think this is a real winning concept and layout that Axopar have come up with. We do hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun, as I normally do when I'm filming these performance reviews. If you did like this video, do like and subscribe to be updated with more similar content on the Axopar and any of our brands. If you are interested in the Axopar 25 or any of the models, do get in touch with the team at eYachts. We'd be happy to help you out here in Australia. We love bringing these boats in. We're big fans, so we hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for joining, and we will see you next time.